Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. We are a spiritual community and a center of liberal religion in Richmond with roots stretching back to 1830. My name is Alex Gecker, and I serve on our board of directors. If you are a visitor here today, our congregation welcomes you. We are so glad you are here and that you found us in our digital incarnation. As a community, we are guided not by a creed, but by a covenant to uphold shared principles marked by love, respect, and justice. We welcome you to live these principles with us as you continue your spiritual journey. We welcome you with all of your diverse identities as a whole, multifaceted, and beloved person. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism, we invite you to check out our website, join our Facebook group, and reach out by email to membership@richmonduu.org. And I hope everyone will consider stopping by our virtual coffee hour, which starts immediately after this service at a separate Zoom link. I know it is a new year, and I have so many hopes for this year, but it is still winter and things are still hard for many of us in many ways. So with that in mind, if you are looking for a little support, I encourage you to reach out to any of our ministers or our lay pastoral care team. You can go to the website richmonduu.org for contact info. And with that, welcome to this Sunday service, made sacred by all of us being together, worshiping, and sharing our time with each other.
In the Bleak and Cold Winter by Cynthia Landrum. In the bleak and cold winter we gather ourselves in, to light the fire, to warm our spirits, to kindle the flame of love and hope. It gives me great pleasure this morning to announce our guest minister, Reverend Jerrie Hildebrand, President of Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans, better known as CUPS, and Minister of Circle Sanctuary from Wisconsin originally. She is also the co-author and co-editor of Pagan and Earth-Centered Voices in Unitarian Universalism, which is published right here with our Skinner House Publishing Company. And now let me introduce you to Jerrie. Thank you and enjoy the service.
Good morning and welcome to all who have joined us today from the north, the south, the east, and the west. You are welcome no matter where you are, where you came from, and what your background is. Take in this new day. Feel the earth underneath your feet. Let the breath in your body sing the songs of the morning. Feel the warmth of this community around you and bring your dreams for the world to this place. Come dance in the sacred moments that we share together today as we learn, live, and love together in this time, in this virtual space. And as we are guided by the light and the lighting of our chalice, I welcome you.
From the Journal of Henry David Thoreau, January 3rd, 1853. I love nature, partly because she is not man, but a retreat from him. None of his institutions control or pervade her. There a different kind of right prevails. In her midst, I can be glad with an entire gladness. If this world were all man, I could not stretch myself. I should lose all hope. He is constraint. She is freedom to me. He makes me wish for another world. She makes me content with this.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Take a few deep breaths deep into your body. Breathe in that which you need for the day and let go of that you don't need as you breathe out. You may close your eyes if you wish, or find a focal point to gently rest them upon. And sit in stillness for a moment. We come to honor Spirit in all of its many names and that which flows through us. We honor our ancestors for the gifts and the lessons that they brought us and that we learned from. Let us weave our hearts in love right here, right now. And may all that is divine move in us, around us, and between us. Through every breath we take, every tear we cry, and every step we walk, may we be blessed with grace as life unfolds. Guide us to acceptance and forgiveness, and to see that our separateness is not what's needed, that what there is to do is to look and see what we have in common. Free us from the illusions of self-importance and teach us to stand together in this world. And let us be guided by these words from Starhawk. Earth Mother, Star Mother, you who are known by 1,000 names. May all remember that we are cells in your body and dance together. You are the grain and the loaf that sustains us each day. And as you are patient with our struggles to learn, so shall we be patient with ourselves and each other. We are the radiant light and the sacred dark. We are the balance. You are the embrace that heartens and the freedom beyond fear. Within you we are born, we grow, live, and die. You bring us around the circle to rebirth. Within you we dance forever. I invite you to take a moment and think of friends and family and people in your community that may need a moment of prayer, blessing, or energy to be sent their way. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and be here now. Blessed be, Ahoashe, and Amen.
A reading from Hebrew Scripture, from the prophet Jeremiah, the 44th chapter. We will certainly do everything we said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her, just as we and our fathers, our kings, and our officials did in the towns of Judah and Jerusalem. At that time we had plenty of food and were well off and suffered no harm. But ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we've had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine. The women added, when we burned the incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings to her, did not our husbands know that we were making cakes like her image and pouring out drink offerings to her?
As a girl, I used to sit on the banks of the Susquehanna River, behind my family's home, to just think and be. I would sit feeling the breezes envelop my body and the smell of the river water lapping up against the land, the warmth of the sun on my body, the lilac trees and the lilies of the valley growing underneath it relaxed my mind. It was like what I will call a spiritual freedom. I felt alive, connected to life, centered, whole, and complete. I felt like the universe had made me just right, and it was different than being in the construct of a building, being told what to believe. As a young Navy wife, my Presbyterian minister in Norfolk, Virginia, talked about pagan practices still alive in Northern Europe. I was curious about the whole thing. He shared the names of books by feminist theologians of that time, and he shared how the feminine face of the divine still existed in the Bible, in the book of Jeremiah, and in other places. We heard some of that passage this morning. And the more I read about earth-centered spirituality, the more I was drawn to it. And so began my journey on the path of paganism. The word pagan comes from the Latin word pagani or paganus. The word refers to a villager or a rustic of the countryside, a country person. Today, the word neo-pagan is often used to describe earth-centered practices, but that term doesn't fit well with some people. In pagan communities, the witches are the healers, the herbalists, the midwives, and the therapists with knowledge for healing humans and animals, growing crops in the field, and having remedies for the heart, mind, and spirit. To bring the country people to the church, practices, beliefs, and worship, as well as their holidays, were adopted. Christmas and Easter are two known holidays using traditions of celebrating the birth of the sun child and the resurrection of spring. And some of the ways that we celebrate marriage and blessing rituals today draw upon also some of those same ancient ways. There are 8 total holidays. 4 are on the equinoxes and the solstices: Ostara, Midsummer, Mabon, and Yule. The other 4 are called cross-quarter holidays, and they are more about celebrating life cycles: Imbolc, Beltane, Lughnasadh, and Samhain. All are environmentally and agriculturally based. Imbolc is what the Dogwood Spirit Circle will be celebrating next Saturday. The overall umbrella terms of pagan and earth-centered spirituality cover a wide range of indigenous, pre-Christian religious and spiritual traditions that span many, many continents. Examples are the Strega from Italy, the Santeria from the Caribbean, the heathens and the Asatru from Germany, and the Druids of England. Wicca came from England, drawing on some of the old pagan practices put into liturgical formats. In all of these, you will find various denominations, traditions, and groups, both large and small. Their common thread, however, is a very deeply held calling of caring for the earth, honoring the land that we live on, and knowing that we are part of the natural world and that all of it is sacred and holy. So how did us all get tied in with Unitarian Universalism? In 1979, Beacon Press published a book by Margot Adler, an NPR reporter and pagan priestess. The book was called Drawing Down the Moon. It became one of their bestsellers with updates in 1986, 1996, and 2006. The same day that year, Harper and Row Publishing released a book by Starhawk called The Spiral Dance. Both Adler and Starhawk, among others, became involved in the women's spirituality movement in the UUA, giving workshops. Their support had UU congregations feel safe for pagans to join. Adler would later become a member of the All Souls Church in New York City, and the UU hymnal would include readings by Starhawk. The first openly pagan and earth-centered worship circles and rituals were held within the UUA in 1980 at the UU Continental Feminist Theological Convocation in Michigan by the Continental Women in Religion Committee. Women and a handful of men attended workshops on a variety of earth-centered subjects, with some of the first water and flower communions being held. The conference stirred thinking and inquiry about earth-centered spirituality. In 1985, the seventh principle was adopted in the association. Reverend Robert Murphy, Rachel Stark, Brian and Roxanne Reddington Wild all were involved in the seventh principle project. They were also involved in CUPS. That same General Assembly, a small group of people decided to come together. They thought maybe there were other people that were interested in learning about goddesses, paganism, and ancient religions. 22 people attended that meeting, and at that time, the Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans, also known as CUPS, was birthed. At the UU General Assembly in 1987, CUPS would produce and offer its first programs. Margot Adler was invited to speak and presented a talk on a pagan spiritual view. The GA programming committee must have thought many people wouldn't come. Instead, what happened was there were people crammed into the room and spilling into the hallways. The room was definitely too small, but it showed a thirst and a hunger for learning about earth-centered spirituality and paganism. CUPS became an independent affiliate of the UUA in 1988. Its mission, dedicated to pagan-identified UUs, educating people about paganism, promoting interfaith dialogue, developing pagan liturgies and theologies, and supporting pagan-identified UU professionals. Approximately 3,000 newsletters were mailed each quarter to members and interested parties. 60 chapters sprang up across the country and Canada, and a sister organization started in the United Kingdom. CUPS set up policies so that churches had clarity that chapters were there in their congregations to support the growth of the church, like a small group ministry, and that they also had outreach to pagans in the larger community. They set up a safe refuge for worship and to honor the beliefs of not just paganism, but Unitarian Universalism. By the 1990s, religious educational materials were developed. Reverend Shirley Rank wrote Cakes for the Queen of Heaven course for women's groups in the association. The name of the curriculum came from that same passage in Jeremiah this morning. And a new hymnal called Singing the Living Tradition included nature-centered music, readings, and chants. CUPS joined many other groups in the UUA supporting the sixth source adoption. After facing some growing pains, CUPS members overwhelmingly voted to become democratically led 501c3 organization in 1996. Membership for CUPS doubled almost every year after that. That same year, while serving on the CUPS board, Margot Adler wrote a beautiful essay called Vibrant, Juicy Contemporary, Why I Am a UU Pagan. Reverend Shirley Rank and I received permission to put that essay in our book, Pagan and Earth-Centered Voices in Unitarian Universalism, that was produced by Skinner House Press in 2017. It would be the last published piece before Adler's death 6 months into the writing. This was the first book published about Unitarian Universalist paganism as part of a series of the many religious perspectives in our ranks. Today, CUPS is a covenanting community of the Unitarian Universalist Association. This new kind of UU identity group advances UU values with a different look and feel than a traditional church. These collectives are helping create new ways of living our UU faith and values and officially being connected to the UU family. CUPS chapters, like Dogwood Spirit Circle at your church, are required to have covenants and a promise to nurture the work of their congregations and communities. Chapter governing groups must be active with their churches and the national organization. It is recommended that chapters be open to all, just like our churches are. CUPS encourages chapters to get involved with social justice concerns. The organization itself has written resolutions against hateful actions of white supremacist organizations, as well as the conditions and ideas steeped in white supremacy. We've spoken in solidarity in environmental justice and in support of Black Lives Matter movement and the water protectors at Standing Rock Sioux Nation. We actively worked with Earth-centered groups for the right of veterans who serviced or continue to serve, who are pagan and earth-centered, to have their sacred symbols on their government-issued headstones at their death. The CUPS board is made up of professionals in the business world and in the Unitarian Universalist world. They're all pagan identified, and together we all work to serve and take care of approximately 70 congregations and chapters. Monthly, we receive and vote on new groups interested in joining and fielding inquiries from all over the world. Also, we continue to offer programming at General Assembly. The one thing I see pagans bringing to congregations is a joy of ritual, the practice of being part of the planet instead of separate. Paganism challenges UUs to open to the mysteries of the universe, that we may never see through the eyes of science or through written word. There's a trust in the mysteries of life, both the seen and the unseen. Paganism challenges us to be what we say we are in practice, not just in words. It is not an easy path, and we are called to walk our talk in deed and word. Worship for pagan and earth-centered peoples can be an ecstatic experience of the holy. I do think the risk of paganism and earth-centered experiences could get lost, watered down, and homogenized by Unitarian congregations. Many welcome that earthy side of being pagan, and that is the side that we hope that people will leave with, is that connection to our earth. Unitarian Universalist is the adjective that describes paganism. And for some, pagan is the adjective that describes their Unitarian Universalism. We are UUs, just like Christian, Buddhist, Jewish, humanist, atheist, and so on. We love being at the table with everyone. We love experiencing all of life, all of Earth's traditions and creations. UUism gives us a place to celebrate and honor all of our heritages that we came from before embracing paganism. We do not have to let go of anything, and we can honor all of ourselves. The sense of tribe and community and connection is so rich and so present. As UUs, if we can bring 1 ounce of that little by little to our living tradition, our churches can be enriched. What is possible with that? I say anything. Because we stand together as one integrated community, bringing respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part, And because we stand in learning spiritual traditions of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Holding on to all of that, we can do this journey together. So ends the message for today. Blessed be.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, your gentle blue giant, spin us around.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light.
Our Share the Plate this month is for First Unitarian Universalist's own Disaster Relief Fund. What does that mean? We like to get ahead of things. That's what it means. We found that waiting to schedule a Share the Plate month in relief of some natural disaster usually takes months. And we want to respond to people who've experienced natural disasters, horrible events, or other things for which we can offer some support and a small monetary amount. To have this fund means that the Share the Plate folks can disperse funds as they see appropriate in our name for those things which have experienced unexpected difficulty. It's a great idea. Now, this is the last Sunday of the month. So I really hope that you'll think of making an additional gift or maybe your first gift of the month to support our Natural Disaster Relief Fund. It would be great to have funds on hand so that when floods happen or when famine happens, we can be there, not just in word, but in deed. The offering will now be taken, and it will be put to use in the name of First Unitarian. The Disaster Relief Fund is our purpose this morning.
Closing Words for Seasonal Transitions by Andrew Pacula. May you know fully and deeply the blessings of each of your heart seasons. The inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless, steady growth of summer, and autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold, and by the light of love to guide you on.
I'd like to thank you again for inviting me to be here with you today. And for our benediction, I give you the words of Margot Adler. We are all a part of the life cycle. Like a seed, we are born, we sprout, we grow, we mature, and we decay. We make room for future generations who, like seedlings, are reborn through us. As for the persistence of consciousness, deep down, I don't know. How can we know? Perhaps simply we return to the elements. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, and spirit. You know what? And all that's all right with me. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your surroundings. Blessed be.